As real estate professionals, we were told that if we go out and buy leads, somehow we'll figure out how to convert those leads into sales and we'll build an awesome real estate business. The truth is that model is dead. With lead conversion at an all-time low, we need to ask ourselves this question. How do we build a profitable business that has clients coming back to us, generating more repeat business and referrals, while in the meantime, increasing our lead conversion rate to be profitable on the front end? Real Insider Pro is here to help you answer that question.
Hey everybody, this is Isaiah Colton with another episode of Real Entrepreneur Podcast, and today's conversation is going to be a little bit outside of the box. We're going to be thinking like putting ourselves 2, 3 years, 4 years in the future, but also something that's taking place right now that's really important. And this is a topic that came up last time I talked to Frank Klezix, who's happens to be my guest speaker here today, to join me in my podcast to talk about this topic. And I'm going to steal his term just to open up the conversation, calling what he called being platformed in 2021 and beyond, and what a mistake that can be long term for our business. And it's a very important topic. So Frank, I just want to quickly 30 seconds. I know most people probably know you, but 30 seconds about yourself, and then let's go right into this topic of being platformed and describe what that means and why that can be a deadly mistake for agents moving forward.
Yeah. I started a company out of college where we interview you on a webcam to create educational videos to help you stay in touch with the database. I've been doing that for about 11 years now. We have 50 employees, and we help people stay in touch with the number one business asset, which is their list. It's your past clients, it's your sphere, it's your leads. And I think we all know you got to have some type of way to nurture them. And when I started the company, it was really popular to send a bunch of canned drip emails, like write the whole year up front and drip out a bunch of like canned material. And just as the years go on, that is just falling more and more out of style, where it needs to be a little more you on video, a little more relevant and unique. Yep. And that's what our firm does. And one of the things that I've always shared is you're really in two businesses. You're in the lead generation business, and you're in the business of actually delivering the service. Right. And he or she who controls the leads controls the business. Simple as that. And if you look at, real estate and professional services at large, home contractors, CPAs, attorneys, there's a rush to platform you. What I mean by that is someone else is creating the marketplace, not you.
Yeah.
And someone else is doing the lead generation and not you. Mm-hmm. And now you're a serf on someone's land. It's a modern day feudalism, where you used to have to work on someone who owned land.
Yeah.
The new land is who controls the leads. The new land is, think about that. You used to be stuck on someone's land. Yeah. So the new land, the new feudal system, is who controls the leads. And if someone else controls the leads, you're going to be toiling away, paying your tithing to the landowner, because you never really own anything. And the reality is, the only thing to own in a professional service is a brand, is the culture of your company, and what they would call goodwill on a balance sheet, which is probably your database of people that will actually use you.
Right.
It's why Coca-Cola sells for such huge premiums, because there's this line item on their balance sheet of what they think Coca-Cola's worth as a brand, right? So when you're selling the intangible and you're selling a professional service,
databases.
When a venture capital company comes in, or you're looking to sell your business, or you go to a business broker, they're going to look at, first and foremost, they're probably going to talk to the head of sales, and they're going to say, do you control your supply? Do you control the way you get clients? And if you're getting all your clients from Zillow, you're basically their employee. If you're getting all of your referrals from where you're paid on a referral commission, you're basically their employee. They're going to come in if you take a Zillow offer or a Zillow deal. They're going to say, you got to use our CRM. We're going to hand you the lead. You're going to have ridiculous reporting requirements. We're going to babysit you nonstop. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's not freedom. Mm-hmm. That's not business freedom. Mm-hmm. So I guess the topic of the conversation today, and I really like that. It's like, think about feudalism, medieval times.
Yeah.
The serfs would toil on the land, the landowners. The new landowners are the ones that control the marketplace, the platform, or the leads. And if you're on those platforms, you don't have it, you're a serf.
It's like digital. It's digital land, basically, right? It's basically, it's like, and you know, look at what's happening with currency right now, with digital currency, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of debate around that. We don't need to get in there with like cryptocurrency, but there's, you know, you could say, well, you know, the leads are like it's like the digital world, digital land, and to your analogy, and that's the way the world's going. So
another way to look at it is you're putting somebody in toll position.
Okay.
For access to the customer. So every time you want access to the customer, you have to pay a toll. And you're on a toll road. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's really hard to build a business when every time you want access to the audience or every time you want access to the customer, you have to pay someone else's toll.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I feel like you look at a lot of vendors and services that are helping real estate professionals, and that real estate professional, that team leader, I think they're waking up to how important their database really is in a lot of ways. And it's funny because you've been in this niche for how long?
Yeah, my whole professional life.
Yeah, your whole professional life, and you've been saying this for how long? Are you seeing that trend? Is that just my perception?
Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, last March and April, I think we took like a freak out of a third of our clients just left. Because nobody wanted to take, they were just cutting expenses. Everyone was getting ahead of it. I mean, it was just a meltdown.
Yep.
You know, I was laying people off. It was just
we had
they needed to do something, or else it would just been a snowball. But then it stabilized probably around May. I felt it kind of stabilizing out. And then come June, it's like, oh, damn.
I got to do something.
Yeah. And what was really interesting at that time, while we had a lot of people leaving our firm, our signups stayed consistent, if not ticked up, in March and April.
Same thing happened.
I was like, really?
Yeah.
People are coming in and giving us all this money at a time when all these people are leaving. I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And we spoke with the customers, and here's what we heard. We heard was, hey, a lot of my business was doing like client appreciation events. Can't do it. A lot of my business was maybe door knocking. Can't do it. Hey, I threw in the towel buying referral leads or buying leads. I mean, these couple $1,000 a month Facebook PPC leads. This COVID thing, just like canceled that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the whole, I got to hire an ISA for $1,000 or $2,000 a month. I got to pay all the Facebook. They take 2 years to convert. Right. A lot of people were leaving that, and they were going, okay, what do I have left? Well, I basically have me calling and pounding phones, but I got to have some leverage than just being the phone. Like, what else can I get that's not too expensive? And a lot of it is creating some content, creating some webinars, creating some videos, using email, using Facebook, using digital media, not so much to throw up online to magically get found, but to push it out to your warmest contacts, which are the people on your list.
That's right. Yeah, it's interesting because same thing. We have 2 different divisions with our company. One is inside sales division, and our other division is largely database marketing focused, using automation and text message campaigns and artificial intelligence, and that we saw that trend. We saw people our ISA division got hammered like during that period of time, and then it stabilized right around June. And we saw more people saying, "Oh my gosh, like I have to do something with my database right now."
Yeah,
and
I think it's where you always go back when the euphoria of easy money and easy sales weans off.
Right.
So you kind of retreat back to like, okay, where is the foundation here of everything is built? And it's on those relationships. And it's really easy, man. I mean, when you're doing business and you're doing leads and you can just buy some quick leads offline,
right.
You know, you don't have to go through all that work. But yeah, because I always wondered at our firm, like we started our company back in like 2009, 10. So we just started kind of like in the trough of like the Great Recession then.
Right.
And it's pretty much been a run up for the past 10 years. Yeah, good ride for 10 years. And I always talked to my business partner, John, who started the firm with me. I was like, I wonder how, viral run in like a recession or run in a low inventory market, like we're seeing now, or, we get clobbered or we do well and business is ticking back up to where we started. And it is a very low inventory market. I was talking to somebody in Phoenix yesterday. They said last year at this time, they would have 25,000 listings on the market. And currently there's 5,000.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
So there should be 25,000 homes for sale this time last year. And right now there's 5,000 homes here. Now what I hear is a giant game of musical chairs of real estate agents.
Yep.
Because that's just a lot less commission money sloshing around the system. So I think what happened is in the summer of last year, we borrowed into a lot of that. Like we basically borrowed into 2021 with all these transactions. And I don't know, man, we'll see. But maybe we'll pay the price this year of just not so much for sale. Who knows?
Yeah. It's interesting. And then you're right, because the homeowner that wants to buy also needs to sell first a lot of times. So then they don't sell because they need to buy first, and it just creates this.
Well, I think it's going to create a huge market for bridge loans. Yeah. I mean, there's Homeward, run by my friend Tim Heil. There's Knock is one of them. I could see a lot of brokerages offering a bridge loan where it's like, look, sell your home to us. We'll lease it back to you, and then we'll let you make an all cash non-contingent offer, which is what you need now.
Yeah.
To go buy your next house, and then you can time the moving date smoothly.
Wow, that's an interesting niche right there.
Yeah, that's the bridge. That's the trade-in program.
Yeah.
Rich Barton calls it at Zillow one-click nirvana, where somebody can click a button and they trade in their home to someone else. And they trade up. And it's all beautiful, right? But there's a lot of. But I say that, man. I mean, there's billions and billions of dollars going into being able to create that type of consumer experience. And I think
I think blockchain technology is going to enhance that.
Yeah, if you're a real estate agent right now, one of your main objection, beside why do I need you as a realtor in a hot market?
Yeah.
Your main objection is going to be I have no place to move. And I don't want to stand outside with 30 other people in a bidding situation on a house. Shoot me in the head. Yeah. Right? That sounds terrible. Then I'm going to overpay for the home. I'm going to get emotional. The seller's going to closing date at a super inconvenient time. And I haven't even sold my house yet.
Right.
And I'm going to be homeless. So what about the moving? It's just oh my God, this is terrible.
Yep.
And I think someone that comes along that offers some type of bridge loan product, is going to directly solve that homeowner pain point. And it gives an agent a real USP than just the typical, I'll take pictures of your home, but it's sign in the yard.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Agents who are watching this, write that down. I just did for our brokerage. That's a really great USP. That's a really, really strong.
Yeah, we can help you buy before you sell.
Yep.
I think the other USP is I'll help you understand all of your options. Hey, there's investors that can buy your home. There's instant offers to buy your home. I can arrange an off-market sale.
Yeah.
Retail. We could do open houses. When's the last time you sold a home? A lot's changed.
Right.
And I'm holding a workshop, or I'm teaching a seller workshop to teach you all of your options. We could play list it or flip it. Where play the game. Do you list it or flip it?
That's great.
We're a real estate investor, and the agent compete for the best option for you.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
So I think helping people understand all their options. There's a lot of agent. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I just want to go back just a couple steps.
The platform question, yeah.
Yeah, and how do they get how do they get unplatformed?
I think first is just having an awareness that you don't control your business. That you're basically a glorified employee. You're an employee in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these companies are really pushing the line when it comes to independent contractor employee deals.
Mm-hmm.
But is understanding that you are platformed, is that you are held hostage. You are tied up in a corner in a hostage situation from a lead provider. Now that lead provider can take many forms. The assailant can take many forms.
Okay.
This is good. This is a good metaphor. It could be Facebook of deciding to lock out your account, or deciding to I'm not gonna let you run your ads anymore because we change our algorithms, or Apple changes this big Apple thing where privacy now, right?
Oh, yep.
It could be a Google pay-per-click that someone comes along and spends more per click and drives up your costs, or Google changes their algorithm, like the Penguin update back in the day. If you're the rest doesn't even link, it could be telemarketing. It could be do not call laws and getting sued for TCPA violations using auto dialers, right?
Yep.
You have obviously the Zillows and the Realtor.coms where they generate the lead, and the brand loyalty is to them and not you. I read an article about someone calling it the Home Depot effect, and the story was he was at Home Depot, he was shopping, and he's like, I need someone to install this thingamadiggy in my house. So Home Depot had the preferred providers with the Home Depot stuff. So he hired one of the providers. Now, when they showed up, they were obviously independent contractors, but he didn't look at them as their own business. It was like, they work for Home Depot. They're licensed or approved or screened from Home Depot. And the relationship was with Home Depot. It wasn't with the provider that came out. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
And when the provider messed up because it was their own business, he blamed Home Depot,
Right.
which forced the hand of Home Depot to get into the business, which is exactly what you're seeing with Zillow. Is Spencer Raskoff was saying, like, hey, half the leads I send to the premier agents don't even get called. I'm like, what do you guys want me to do? Like, they're all yelling at me.
Yeah.
Like, I have to get in lead follow business.
Yeah.
And then when I pass you leads, you guys drop the balls. Like his biggest asset and the biggest liability of Zillow is the agent. Yeah. So it started as a media platform where they wanted to just send leads over to agents. But because the agents were ruining the Zillow brand so much, they had to get more into the business.
Yeah. And what you realize, because I've on a much smaller scale, but I've experienced that starting off with my brokerage. Then I launched an inside sales division, thinking that was going to solve a problem for my brokerage and eventually for clients. And then there's still a follow-up problem, even when the ISA puts the appointment in their hand. There's still a problem with working that lead the right way and following up with it the right way for it to be converted and for that lead to have a good experience. And
that's ultimately what it comes down to, and that's why Jeff Bezos runs the world.
Yeah,
it's the customer experience, and the elephant in the room is, at least in real estate. And I know we're getting off the platform conversation, but you're trying to ensure a consistent customer experience and lead experience with independent contractors where you cannot exert that control.
Yeah, and
I think that's the big thing that needs to be talked about is switching probably to a W-2 model if you really wanted to put the consumer experience first, because you just can't do it legally with the level of insight and inspection and supervision and teamwork as an independent contract relationship.
I firmly believe, and I've been talking to a lot of colleagues, is that we're going to see more of a movement towards that, where you have in certain areas and pockets where you have teams start creating that environment, or brokerages start creating that environment. I'm already starting to test that right now, that W-2 model, because one of the reasons why I stay in the business is because I never want to be just somebody who offers a platform that doesn't use it myself. And so I try to stay in the business with our brokerage, and we experience these same things. One of the things I've been training a lot about is your traditional sales funnel, so to speak, talks about generating a lead and getting a transaction, where to me, if you're going to truly scale a business that's special, you got to look at the whole picture, and that's marketing, sales, and service. And even though that's common sense and to a lot of people, I think that the next biggest UVP or USP, Frank, is going to be experience. It's going to be the team that can provide the best experience for that client.
That's always what's going to win. That's what over time, capitalism rewards that.
Yeah.
The sheer economics of it. But get back to your question, because we're just getting off topic, is what does an agent do when they're platformed?
Yep.
And they realize this? Well, first is to realize it. is that you're held hostage by someone else and you're on someone else's platform and you're a serf on someone's land. That you could be a serf to Facebook, you could be a serf to the phone laws, you could be a serf to Realtor and Zillow, all these different sources. And that's not bad if you play the game where it's like, okay, I'll get my leads this way. They're going to be expensive, but I'm going to take that lead, put it into my database, and factor in the lifetime value of it, where the referrals and repeat business comes from it. That's where I make my profit.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it. The second way is you have to invest in some other highways, so to speak, where there's no toll. Maybe build some other highways where you don't have to pay toll position.
Multiple channels.
And there's a lot of those. I'll go through a couple that are pretty popular that work well. First is, rounding up everyone in your Gmail and your Outlook and everyone that you know, and load them into an email marketing account. Start sending a couple helpful educational emails out a month. Throw those people into Facebook. Run some ads to them to stay in touch. And then run them through one of these likely to sell companies. There's lots of them. One that we're going to be probably doing a partnership with is likely.ai. You go over to them, upload your list, and they'll run them through a statistical algorithm of behavior data to figure out who's likely to sell. And you start, working that list in some way, specifically your past clients and sphere. And then, it sounds like a company like yours can go on and take all those leads and start texting them and going deeper and calling them to find out who's going to convert.
We have a system. We have Ren, actually, we call it Ren scoring. It sounds a lot like likely to move, where that's one of the layers of service that we offer. So it's an extremely
it takes your list and it runs it through an algorithm and says, hey, there might be something going on in this person's life based upon, I don't know, their iPhone location, the websites they're going to, their credit card transactions, all the stuff in the terms of service.
There's 700 different data points.
Yeah. I was reading Axiom has 5,000.
I know, it's insane.
So Axiom, if you go check out Axiom, has 5,000 data points in every American to be able to slice and dice lists for consumer behavior. But anyways, is looking at your database. The second thing, honestly, is you have to start looking into teaching workshops. This is not very common in real estate. It's extremely common in financial services, but teaching investing, teaching first time home buyer, teaching home selling workshops. Those are wonderful, and you put them on, or it's your platform.
Right.
You invite a co-host, you invite guest speakers. They all email their lists to your platform, which is the workshop.
Yep.
Follow me?
Yep.
And that's a really easy way for people where it's like, hey, I don't have any money. What do I do?
Yeah.
And I don't want to slog away pounding cold calls, bro. Like, please, God, can someone give me a different option than that?
Yeah.
And I know it works. I get it. But please, I don't want to be doomed to doing that. What else do I got? Well, I'm like, you got database and you have putting on webinars or workshops where you bring in guest speakers and they all mail their list to your registrations, which is something you're really good at, Isaiah. I mean, you put on events and you get, you bring in speakers from the industry and they all mail their list to get people there. So you're not, just a slave to Facebook for the registrations.
Yeah, we use that same model for our brokerage. It's funny you bring up events because we have a huge push. We have a huge push on doing online events, and just like you'd run an in-person buyer seminar or seller seminar, and just like you'd invite your lead mortgage person, your insurance guy to come join you or sponsor it. You can do the same thing online, and it can be just as effective. And we just did one for our brokerage, and we had we did 2 segments. The first part was for sellers, the second part was for buyers. We had almost 100 homeowners show up to it, and it was so powerful. And then the follow-up was phenomenal. The relationship was there, and Frank, you're right on point. That is somebody who's serious.
It's one of the first things you can do to get deplatformed.
Yep. Right. And then I would say it's your database, right? We're talking about databases.
Well, yeah, working your existing list.
Right.
Going deeper in that, then throwing workshops. I'll give one more, the third one in order. Are you ready?
Yep.
It's going to be direct mail. It's going to be direct mail. Direct mail is the most democratic, most American form of media.
Right.
Let me tell you why. First off, I don't have to worry about anyone outbidding me on the price of a stamp.
That's right.
Don't have to worry about it. I also don't have to worry about the post office opening my mail and going, what's our policies today, given the political situation and
Yep.
privacy concerns? You know what? I'm not going to deliver this piece of mail. I'm going to throw it back and say I'm not going to run it.
Right.
I don't got to worry about that.
Right. Like texting and cold calling and direct voice.
And
all these things are changing. Yeah.
We're going to change the laws and we're going to reinterpret the 1991 TCPA Act on what the capacity of an auto dialer is. So if I make some auto dialed call or I send some mass text, I get like a multi-million-dollar lawsuit because they subpoena all my texts and all my calls. I don't have to worry about that because I can mail you. If you call me and say, stop mailing me, if you call me and say, don't mail me anywhere, I don't have to listen to it because the mailbox is government property. You don't own it.
That's so true.
Right. So I don't have to worry about getting sued. I don't have to worry about privacy issues. So on top of that, I can slice and dice a direct mail list with all different types of criteria. All I have to do, and I can write one letter. I can write one letter and mail the same letter over and over.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is, if you're using direct mail, I would not consider the postal system being on someone's land.
And if you're an REN client, just to let you know, we believe 100% in what Frank is saying. And within a matter of, if you're listening to this podcast, within a couple weeks, you're going to see a new application go up on our dashboard called Run Postcards, where we're going to be able to click a button and then sync your database with the postcard campaign and automate the whole thing right from the dashboard, because we believe 100% in what Frank is saying. And so just be on the lookout for Run. It'll be Run Postcards. It'll be at the top of your dashboard.
Cool.
So cool.
So Frank, that's awesome.
That was a perfect. I had to make that announcement anyway, so that was a perfect segue to kind of wrap up this podcast. And one of the things I really appreciate about your approach, Frank, is there's a lot of people in this industry. I can tell you're always researching, you're always masterminding, and you're always trying to bring the best insights and information to your sphere, which I'm thankful to be a part of your sphere. And so if you are listening to this podcast and you have a void when it comes to video marketing and database, there's no better company than Viral Marketing to reach out to.
Thank you, man.
And so just take, and if you're on our dashboard, if you're a client, click on his app, click on the Viral application or the app there, the tile, and
you'll get a copy of the video marketing plan. So I'm going to send that right to a copy of the official video marketing plan to get business from your list.
And I've seen that plan, and I've actually used that plan to say, oh my gosh, this is what our brokerage is missing. Like that plan is awesome.
Thank you, man.
It's really awesome. And you came up with that plan years ago. And I think
11 years ago.
That plan was so far ahead of its time. And
that was the plan I wanted for my own real estate business that I was going to get into out of college. And I just realized that maybe that is that's something you could do for a living.
Yeah, that plan was so far ahead of its time, and it's still 100% relevant today. So thank you, Frank.
Yeah.
And we're happy to have you on the Real Entrepreneur podcast anytime you want to come back.
Thanks, Isaiah.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.